At the Enrichment Center, we believe that a highly motivated test subject can carry out rather complex tasks while enduring the most intense pain. So in case you don't make it through the testing, goodbye.
Do you ever do the pocket check when you're leaving the house? You know, that pat down you give yourself to make sure you've got your keys, your phone, your wallet, purse, or bag? Maybe you do a quick check to see if it's raining outside and you need to grab your umbrella. If you lived in any of these video game worlds, you would need to incorporate making sure you have that oversized sword or demon slaying gun with you before you step out the door. Although, given the size of some of these weapons, they'd be pretty hard to miss on your way out. Welcome back to Game Gentleman. In this week's video, we look at 10 of the most iconic video game weapons. Before we begin, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Number 10. Soul Reaver. The ultimate weapon in the original Legacy of Kain game, and the titular focus of its sequel, the Soul Reaver was forged using the energy of the Pillars of Nosgoth, making it indestructible. The Soul Reaver's iconic curved blade and skull-shaped hilt have made an appearance in every title in the Legacy of Kain franchise. The Soul Reaver is a powerful weapon, and when fully charged it had the ability to one-hit all non-boss enemies. However, that strength came at the cost of Kain's magic meter, which would drain with each hit. Once Kain's magic meter was drained, the sword was no more powerful than his standard iron sword, so players had to balance the risk and reward of its use. Raziel, the protagonist of the second game in the series, would get his own version of the sword known as the Wraith Blade, which was intertwined with his very soul. While Raziel's version of the Soul Reaver was able to be used in the spectral realm at any time, its use in the material realm was only possible if Raziel's health was full. Several variations of the sword, largely based on different elements and ways to kill vampires, were planned for the Soul Reaver series but would be scrapped during development, with the Fire Reaver being the only one to make it to the finished game. Number 9. Lancer. Okay, you've just designed a game full of badasses fighting alien enemies known as the Locust Horde. You need to give them a badass weapon to suit. They're infantry, so an assault rifle makes the most sense, but isn't really badass enough. What if you were to put a chainsaw on the front of that weapon? And this is how we imagine the brainstorming process went with the Mark II Lancer assault rifle from the Gears of War series. The Mark II Lancer was a standard issue weapon of all Gears soldiers, providing reliability, versatility in both medium and long range combat, fully automatic fire, and of course the chainsaw bayonet for those up-close encounters. The Mark II would be replaced by the Mark III Lancer later in the series, but this was considered more of an upgrade to the existing weapon based on Marcus Phoenix's custom Mark IIs than a new weapon altogether. Number 8. The Keyblade. Okay, so we'll be the first to admit we never really got into the Kingdom Hearts series. Something about the combination of Final Fantasy and Disney never really appealed to us. But we have no doubt that Kingdom Hearts has a massive and dedicated fan base, and that the Keyblade is one of the most iconic symbols of the franchise. So what the hell is a Keyblade? Is it a key? Is it a sword? Well, technically it's both. This weapon can only be wielded by those strong of heart, and can be passed down by its holder to a worthy successor. As a weapon, it can be used in both up-close and ranged attacks, and as a key, it can allow its holder to travel between worlds and unlock any lock in existence. Kingdom Hearts protagonist Sora is undoubtedly the most famous Keyblade wielder, but variations of the Keyblade have been held by characters such as King Mickey and series antagonist Xehanort. Number 7. The Hidden Blade. A staple of the Assassin's Creed franchise, this wrist-mounted blade delivered a devastating blow to any Templar who dared unknowingly cross your path. The Hidden Blade originally required its wearer to chop off their ring finger in order to make room for the blade and to show their dedication to the Creed. However, the blade was later upgraded by none other than Leonardo da Vinci so that Ezio did not have to make such a sacrifice. The blade has seen some upgrades and amendments over the years, such as the ability to deliver poison or a hook to traverse across the rooftops of Constantinople, but its functionality has largely remained the same across every game. The more recent RPG-style Assassin's Creed series nerfed the blade, meaning that the hidden blade attack was no longer a one-hit kill until it, or the player, were leveled up enough. Assassin's Creed Odyssey also saw the blade scrapped in favour of Leonidas' spear, but that functioned more or less the exact same when it came to stealth assassination. Number 6. Plasma Cutter. If the people around you started mutating into horrifying Cronenbergian monsters hell-bent on eating your face, and the only weapon you had to defend yourself is the first thing you can grab in your workplace, what would your weapon be? Well, if you're ship systems engineer Isaac Clarke, the answer to that question would be a 211V Plasma Cutter. Developed by Schofield Tools for use in mining operations, the Plasma Cutter fires a bolt of ionized plasma designed to cut into mineral. However, it also quickly proved its efficiency in dismembering necromorph limb. The Plasma Cutter is not without its limitations, however. It is by no means the strongest weapon in the Dead Space series and has a very precise trajectory, requiring players to make sure their aim is steady, which is pretty hard to do when you're running for your life. Its reliability and capacity for taking off limbs means it's an essential weapon to always keep ready as a backup in the event of running out of ammo for your more high-powered weapons. Number 5. The BFG 9000. The Doom series has its share of iconic weapons. From chainsaw to super shotgun, there are plenty of ways to turn demons into demon soup. But in our book, none of them are as iconic as the BFG 9000. Playing the original Doom and Doom 2 as a kid, this was the video game gun to rule all video game guns. The BFG would vaporize everything in sight with a single trigger pull. Of course, being young, I never really had the skill to play Doom properly and acquire it through legitimate means. But that's where Doom's classic cheat codes would come in handy. The BFG 9000 was originally going to be a rapid-fire plasma gun capable of shooting green and red rounds which would bounce off walls, ceilings and floors. The concept had to be scrapped due to technical limitations slowing down the game when the number of projectiles on screen became too many. And also because Doom creator John Romero said that the green and red plasma rounds looked like Christmas. Number 4. The Gravity Gun. Technically speaking, the proper name for this gun is the Zero-Point Energy Field Manipulator, but for ease of narrating this video, I'm going to refer to it as the Gravity Gun. This gun was another example of a tool designed for something else, proving its efficacy as a weapon. Originally designed for moving heavy objects and handling hazardous materials without ever touching them, the Gravity Gun possessed the ability to propel objects at high speed, giving rise to its use as a weapon. One of the hallmarks of the Half-Life franchise is the ability to manipulate objects in the environment using the game's physics-based engine. This is only enhanced when players get their hands on the Gravity Gun, allowing them to pick up and throw items such as saw blades and explosive barrels at the many enemies. Later in the game, the Gravity Gun is charged with dark energy, and that's where things are turned up to 11. This upgrade allows the Gravity Gun to pick up organic matter such as living or dead enemies and hurl them over the edge of walkways or at crowds of others, or to pick up dark energy orbs and obliterate anything they touch. Number 3. Portal Gun. Another legendary Valve title which plays with the very laws of physics it finds itself bound by, and another iconic weapon with a long-winded name. The Aperture Science handheld portable device, or Portal Gun, is Shell's primary tool to navigate her way through the Enrichment Center. The Portal Gun has the ability to fire 2 interlinked portals for players to traverse through regardless of distance, allowing players to solve the Enrichment Center's increasingly complex puzzles. It also has a zero-point energy field manipulator similar to Half-Life's Gravity Gun, just much weaker, allowing the player to pick up and manipulate objects within the environment, such as the companion cube. The portal gun can be used tactically to allow players to traverse the environment in physics-defying ways, such as creating one portal above another to generate a bottomless pit effect, before firing the portals to another surface and using the momentum to cross otherwise impossible gaps. It's not without its drawbacks though. There are surfaces on which the portals cannot form, and portals will be reset if the gun passes through a material emancipation grill. Number 2. Blades of Chaos. Gifted to Kratos in a moment of desperation which saw him pledge his life to Ares in exchange for destroying his enemies, the Blades of Chaos are a pair of twin blades imbued with the flames of the underworld and bound to their owner by chains as a reminder of their oath to the then god of war. While the blades enabled Kratos to vanquish his enemies in battle, they indentured him to Ares and would lead to the death of his first wife and child, kicking off the events of the original trilogy and Kratos cleaving his way through the Greek pantheon. While 2018's God of War saw Kratos start out with his equally legendary Leviathan axe, he could not deny his true nature, nor run away from his past, and he has to take up the Blades of Chaos once again in order to save Atreus' life. Number 1. The Master Sword. Perhaps the most persistent, iconic weapon on this list, the Master Sword has appeared in no less than 10 Zelda titles. Known by many names throughout the ages, such as the legendary sword, the Blade of Evil's Bane, and the sword that seals the darkness, this legendary weapon is imbued with the power to repel and defeat enemies, and is said to be the only weapon capable of defeating the evil Ganon. Legend has it that the sword chooses its master, helped by the spirit Fi that lives inside it. The worthy recipient must be a hero who has proven his or her worth through trials that test their courage, wisdom, and power. Luckily, we know a certain young hero with a penchant for green who fits that bill. The sword's location, Link's journey to acquire it, and its upgrades and abilities vary from title to title, but its status as one of gaming's all-time greatest weapons remains consistent. So that's our list of 10 of the most iconic video game weapons. We know there are plenty more out there, so leave a comment below with the most iconic weapon we've left off this list. As always, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with a friend who would walk out of the house and leave their legendary weapon behind. This has been GameGentleman, and thanks for watching.